time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's nearly Christmas and it's Danger Recall Part 11. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on our Danger Recall journey. With me today, I have some guests. My name is Colin, and with me I have Dan.
Hello, everyone. It's cold outside. I'm feeling festive.
Oh, yes, it's festive time of year, isn't it? I also have Ross.
Ding dong merrily on high, the church of singing. Ding dong merrily on high, the holly is a springing. Oh, Vanna is our Chibus.
Yeah, cool. And the other voice you heard there was Scott. The only reason I wasn't so enthused is because, I'm going to have to try and sync those two voices because we're recording remotely. Yeah. So good luck trying to sync those voices, Colin. Yeah, Danger Recall. It's not about editing, is it? It's not about editing. It's just about the conversation. Scott, how are you?
Scott, it's fine.
Hello, ho, ho, Colin. I'm fine. Thank you very much. How are you? Good to see you here.
Good. Real good. Here. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, things are going on. Things are going in, going on, going off. It's all happening.
Going up,
going down, round and round. How is everyone? Is everyone good?
Yeah, what, mate? Yeah.
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 Today we're going to talk about episode 13 of the Danger Club podcast, right? And this one was released on the 27th of the 8th, 2018. I realised I haven't done this for a little while, but we talked about the intro. The intro name is Two Dwarves, One Potion. Do you want to talk about that, Dan, or not?
I've just got to pop out, actually, Colin, for the specific amount of time it takes to explain where that reference comes from.
Yeah.
I can do it. I'll do it.
No.
No, this is a family show. We're not going to talk about Two Dwarves, One Potion, all right? We're just going to leave it there. But I thought I'd throw it out there because it's quite funny. If you know what that's a reference to, brilliant. If you don't, you won't be able to Google it because it's quite obscure, all right? But well done if you... You will. If you got that reference, well done.
You know the soggy biscuit where we tell you not to Google it? Also, the same applies here, but, probably more.
This is an obscure reference, though. This is a really obscure reference. Anyway, so, Scott, your hip-hop intro in this episode was great.
Oh, thanks, mate. Do you know what? I wrote that down and I was like, I'm not going to explain this. Colin's going to do a massive deep dive on the Sugar Hill Gang.
Do you know what? I didn't.
Oh, no way, seriously. I was convinced you were going to do it. I was like, that's actually Colin's territory as well.
I'll tell you what, off the top of the dome. We're going to do it off the top of the dome. Yes. All right.
Yeah.
So this tune was released in, I believe, 1979. There's a real big kind of story behind this tune. Basically, one of the guys on this tune is known for biting the lyrics from another rapper. All right. So basically, he was like a chef in a pizza restaurant, and some woman come in and knew that this guy, Big Man Hank, I think his name is, right? And he says, I do a bit of rapping. And she took him into his car and said, look, we want to make a rap song that's suitable for pop music. So do you think you could be involved? And he was like, yeah, sure. And they paid him loads of money and stuff like that. But he wasn't really a rapper, right? There was a guy called Grandmaster Caz, who at the time was a rapper. This guy was known on the rap scene, Big Man Hank. So anyway, he went into the studio and he recorded Grandmaster Caz's verses onto the record. And it's like one of the biggest stories in hip hop that song is like a whole big bit and lyric. You can hear it because he says, I'm the Grandmaster with the 3 MCs that shut the house for the young ladies. And that's taken from Grandmaster Caz's actual rhymes.
That just came off the back of your, in the back of your head.
Yeah. So there you go.
I've got so many questions. Don't anyway, Colin. Hang on.
It is considered as the first hip hop tune, and it has inspired so many people to go out and actually become rappers. The sample on it is amazing. It's from boom boom boom, which is an amazing song. What's that song?
A hip hop. A hippie.
Yeah, that's the song that it is, Ross.
The Sugar Hill Gang, yeah.
It's not how references work.
Do you know what? I'm going to find that out because I've completely forgotten. But it's a and the guy that plays the guitar on it is really, really famous for making loads and loads of different songs and all that sort of stuff. Any questions on that? I mean, I could talk about it all the
Flash
time.
on that track, or is it later? Because I know he works with Sugar Hill Gang for some of his career.
Grandmaster Flash was someone slightly different. He did the message. He was quite famous for that song.
But that's with is that with Sugar Hill Gang or is that with Furious 5?
No, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, they're the ones that do that song. They kind of tour together quite a lot now, I believe. You get like old school shows where they all kind of, get together and do a show. But yeah, I mean, incidentally, that song was known for that in the community of hip hop, but globally, it wasn't known about that. And it was one of the biggest songs ever made, and it's still played today. And you can get like a 12-inch version, which I think is about 10 or 11 minutes long, which they used to play in the clubs. And
I'm working out through context that biting the lyrics from someone else means stealing them. Is that correct?
That's exactly correct.
Thanks.
You shouldn't bite lyrics.
So I was sweating about that. I thought you might have mispronounced right, and then I was like, I don't think he'd mispronounce something at this. And then you started mentioning like the pizzeria, and I was like, oh, it's an eating thing. It's an eating themed story. Someone's going to literally eat in a rapper and consumed their abilities. And then when you said about like someone was rapping in a pizzeria and then got taken out by someone into their car and said, hey, we need a pop star rapper. I was like, that's like one of Drum's throwaway characters' backstories. Like, I'm pretty sure like Drum has written that story for one of the characters that has since died on one of these episodes. Like,
it also sounds a lot like just one of Drum's anecdotes, like something that would have just happened to Drum.
Yeah.
Now, going back to your improvisation, that was all improvised, wasn't it? Which was kind of cool. I love that. That was great. We did a bunch of warm-ups. We mentioned Stephen King. And we talked about, because we were talking about Shawshank Redemption, how the fact that he wrote it. Now, we say, fight us, Stephen King. We don't say, tweet us. So we're still waiting for our first tweet us someone. But Stephen King is first in line.
Is he?
Can we mark that down?
He?
He's the first celebrity that we have said, come at us, bro. Yeah? That's the first one we've offered out. So that's good to know. No tweet us yet, though. We're looking out for it when there's going to be a big celebration when that happens. I don't know when it's going to happen. Then we did It's Getting Hot in Here by Nelly. Nelly is, my deep dive on this is, it's the best song ever. That's it.
Yeah.
It's getting hot in here. Possibly the best song ever.
It's not though, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, it's not the best song ever. However, it did win. It did win a Grammy for best performance.
Are you
Best rap
serious?
performance. Yeah, seriously, won a Grammy.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
And then we big up Scotland,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
and we're going to big up Scotland again. Big up Scotland, man.
Big up Scotland.
We got much love for you.
Big up Ayrshire.
Big up Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever
big
been to
up-
Hadrian's Wall?
Nope.
Yeah, I
It's
have.
kind of cool, man. It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it was nice. I went my parents took me as a kid and stood on it, and it's so misty and hazy, and it really fueled a desire for fantasy ever since. Actually, so shout out Hadrian's Wall. You helped build my unconscious of fantasy desires.
We were just
true
driving
connoisseurs
past
go-
it once. We were on a job and there was a bunch of us in the van and we were just like, let's go and drive down to Hadrian's Wall and then just shout. So we stood on Hadrian's Wall and we just went, ah, and shouted out into it. Was really cool. And then we saw all these little frogs. They were like tiny little frogs and there was billions of these things crossing the road. We had to wait until they all went across the road before we could walk.
Oh.
I take
very
it back. I take it back. That was the most Drum backstory thing I've ever heard.
There was these frogs and they were trying to
Yeah,
cross
man,
the
I
road.
just shouted at these frogs, and then they all climbed over the wall, and I got in my shoes and stuff, and then this pop star rapper came out of a pizzeria. Yeah, anyway, that's why I'm late.
Yeah,
I mean, true connoisseurs go to the Antonine Wall, which is the true Roman border.
Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to either of them, so I don't.
This is like your film backstory, isn't it? You know,
What, we're just going to list famous walls I haven't been to.
I've been to the Great Wall of China.
The Theodosian walls. It's a mess.
Haven't been to Trump's Wall. I mean, who are you? You know, no one's been to Trump's Wall. Am I right?
Yeah.
Is it still there? It's not still there, is it?
It's not. It's
15
half.
miles.
I think it's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Miles is how much was constructed during his entire presidency.
God.
And it's
Get
not a wall,
over
it's a
it.
fence.
Yeah, it's like a fence, isn't it? With loads of holes in it. So anyway, there we go. Trump's wall. Well done. Nice one, brother. All right, so we start the episode and Moncolio changes back into himself. So he's obviously a shapeshifter. He says, finish him. The first thing he says is, finish him off, lads. We've spared the children. And we missed that completely. We spend the whole time in the next episode trying to find who's still alive or whatever. Yeah. But we completely missed that. I did anyway. I'm not sure about you, but I think most of us kind of missed the fact that he said that. And then,
want to know what's going. Let me know when you want to know what's going on.
Oh yeah, this is good. All right, so we're going to do something special on Danger Recall today. Scott and Ross, are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. So Dan is going to tell us what's happening from the bad guy's point of view. Oh. Ross, I'm going to throw this out to you. Do you want to do like an improvised sting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bad guy's point of view.
Okay. Dun 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 dun. The bad guy's point of view. Dun 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 dun. Let's peek behind the curtain. Dun 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 dun. And it's the bad guy's point of view.
It was good. It was good.
I mean, calling it the bad guy's point of view makes it look like we're going to be empathizing with them and just being
hey,
they're economically challenged. They've got a lot of tensions here.
We might We might look back at the club and go, "Oh shit, we shouldn't have done that."
Bad guys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? It's their point of view.
Yes. All right. It's good.
No, yours, Ross. Yours was genuine. I ripped mine off. Yours is true improvisation.
All right, tell us what's going on, Dan.
So a bunch of the Dangerlings kind of got in touch over Recall and they were like, can you explain what the hell is going on? Because kind of one of the hallmarks of Murder's Mark is that there is this plan going on behind that you're trying to unravel. And it happens alongside everything that you guys are doing. So stuff just keeps popping up. You're only seeing the results of it rather than everything else that's happening behind it. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of say what that plan was. What did you miss? What was happening while you were reacting to it? And what were actually the truth behind some of these mysteries? And it is quite fun. It's really well done. So I promise it won't be very long. It starts 15 years ago.
Here we go.
So we have this. We have
Buckle up, Dangerlings. Here we go. Sit back, get a coffee.
Borvius, you'll need one. Borvius and Rebella Moncolio, they are the bad guys of Murder's Mark. They are a married couple. Borvius Moncolio, we are just meeting for the first time in this episode. So they're involved in organised crime in a city called Corvosa, a little way away from Ilsurian. They make a drug called Shiver, which is incredibly potent, and they sell it for the local gangs. But what happens is that one day, the brother of the head of the gang, this big gang called the Skarzani, overdoses on Rebella's Shiver, dies, and they're forced to flee from the big city to this tiny little backwater town where they set up their own criminal gang. They take over a bit of the warehousing business, so they run some of that. They set up a curiosity shop, and then they just sort of make Shiver and they sell it to the surrounding towns. And they hold prisoners for river pirates. They fence goods. They're a small-time criminal operation. They also recruit two skulks whose names we will find out at some point in this podcast, and they get them to get the rest of their tribe hooked on Shiver so that they'll do anything they say, basically. But the rest of the tribe never meet the humans. They don't know who they work for. They just know that they get drugs from them via these two skulks. So we come to the present day. And the Gilded Hands is the name of the guild. And they've basically grown as big as they can grow without exposing themselves. So they're kind of stuck. So when the circus comes to town, they formulate this big plan that they're going to have one mega crime spree. They're going to hit all the targets they want to hit, kill all the people they want to kill, and they're going to blame it all. They're going to use it by blaming it on this Sphinx that they know travels with the circus. And they don't know that the Sphinx isn't real. So the first step's Archivin Walder. You guys dealt with him around episode 4, I think. That's where the mystery starts kicking in. Rebella, she's an alchemist. She uses feral mutagen, an enlarged person, so she turns herself into a massive werewolf dog kind of creature, kills Walder, rips him apart to make it look like he was killed by a big beast. And then Meanwhile, the rest of the guild are starting rumours all over the town that they've seen a sphinx flying around. So no one's seen the sphinx, but they spread the rumours. And then when people find the footprints around Walter's body, that starts you making you think that he was killed by a beast. They then send the skulks down to the locked box to loot it, to get all the money. The skulks make a complete hash of it. They kill a guard. They get 2 of them locked in the basement, and then they all run away. So they mess that whole thing up. But in doing it, lead you to think that the skulks are behind it and not the gang. The next step, you guys didn't massively interact with this one, but the next one is the Temple of Yomadai. So they know that there's a local priest who is trying to broker a peace in this, who's trying to calm it down. So to deal with that, the gang start pickpocketing a load of people around the town and then raise the alarm on it themselves, which starts the riot that you guys have in episode 6, that you have to try and quell, the fact that the town are all trying to kick off. That pulls guards away from the circus. So it means when the priest goes to talk to Gerazana, and obviously doesn't find her because she's not real, while you guys are at the skulks, they sneak in, strangle her, and do the same thing. Turn into a big dog, leave some footprints, rip the priest apart, and then they escape with invisibility potions and clown costumes. And that's what you guys found at the end of that. You found some clown costumes, but you couldn't find out where they've gone to. And while all this chaos is going on, they rob the Temple of Yomadai as well, and so they've got the money from that. So they've hit 2 of their big targets. But now we're getting up to where we are in the story. So now they have a problem because you guys are involved now, and they didn't factor in that you guys would be a problem. So now the Gilded Hands are trying to work out a way to deal with this, and the way they do involves their final target, which is Arnahim Brayton. So Arnahim Brayton is Borvius Moncolio's main rival in terms of like the legitimate shipping business. Moncolio controls all the warehouses. Brayton controls all the ships. If he can take Brayton out, he can take over the shipping, and they will run all of the trade in and out of the town. They will be set for life if they can do that. The one loose end they have is this guy called Folton Legg, who is an old drug addict who kind of knows about the Gilded Hands just because he's been buying drugs from them for so long. He decides he's going to go straight. He quits the habit, and he's going to go and work for Arnahim Brayton. So that provides a perfect excuse. The Gilded Hands murder him. They leave him hanging from the middle of the street with a load of fabricated evidence that they think which will rile up the sheriff and the townsfolk about the carnival. But the key thing is they plant the information about Arnahim Brayton on his body, because he knows by this point that you guys are smart enough that you will twig that is the real bit of evidence, and that you will go to investigate Brayton Manor. So, and also that you will do it in a way that the sheriff will know that you're going to Brayton Manor, or at least some of the town will, because you make it public enough that you're going up there. So you're seen going to Brayton Manor. In the meantime, the guild have gone there. Moncolio has drunk a change shelf potion that his wife made to make himself look like Folton. They go in, they murder the whole family, leaving the kids alive, and Moncolio makes sure while he's doing it that the kids see him as Folton. So the kids they've got an eyewitness account basically that Folton Battlestone was in the house, and then everyone ended up dead. And their plan is that you guys are going to walk straight in. They will then ambush you, murder you, and when by the time the sheriff arrives from all of the noise, Moncolio will have turned back into himself and will be waiting there to say, it was the Danger Club all along. They killed all of the people in league with the circus. Look, we've killed them. And here are 2 children that have an eyewitness account that they're the bad guys. And at the end of it, you guys are dead. They're home free. He buys up the shipping business, and Gilded Hands make out with all of the money. The problem is that he has massively underestimated you, which is where we end up with them right at this point, with him walking out onto the stairs.
Nice.
I can't remember. Do we see the children?
Yeah, we come to that. We're going to come to meeting the children.
That was a good, nice little scoop there, Dan. That was good. It was always interesting to hear that thing. It deserves its own Narcos or Peaky Blinders episode where you see it from like a gang's point of view. It would have been almost as interesting.
It's
got like
that'd be cool.
It's almost like there's so much going on that isn't player facing there that you just like ordinarily, were it not for an episode like this, would just not hear about. It's sort of like, wow, ouch, you know, like there's
so
all about writing and like
as a DM as well.
Yeah, you sort of like have to get out elsewhere. Also, like he had a gang, right? Sheriff Eldane's got like 2 dudes. Like, if you wanted to, he could just own the town. It would take him like 5 minutes to do a coup, and he'd rule it.
Maybe that's some future Patreon content we could create. We could create like a Narcos backstage episode of like the other side of things. Do you know what I mean? We could play all those parts and be like, yeah, we're going to get the fucking Danger Club. Yeah, we're going to kill them.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Do you know what I mean?
God,
we wouldn't have the discipline to be able to pull off like a months-long heist of an entire town. Wouldn't be able to do that.
No, maybe not.
You just got to wander around. That's why you can be reassured that players will usually be like the chaotic good guys. Just wander around and be like, I want to do something good for someone, loudly.
Right, we're quite far into this episode already. I love that though, Dan. That was great. Thank you so much for our point of view of the bad guy. There's quite a lot of combat that happens in this episode. I'm just going to pick out a few things really because we had that massive deep dive. Everyone misses in our first round. That's great. We all kind of miss, which is great. We do the hello chat from Colin. Everyone's like, hello, which, I don't know if that stuck around, to be honest, but we talk about the old stuff, the old this, the old that. Everyone takes the piss out of Colin again. Let's not talk about that because it's my show. Yeah. No, I don't mind. It's fun. Fact, hashtag Colin's accent. Let's get it out there. Do you know what I mean? We all miss again on round 2, apart from Caragor, which is good. Well done, Caragor, for round 2. And I love this bit when one of the thugs goes to hit Shania, but he gets his axe stuck in the wall. That's so fun to think about the visual of that.
I do like critical fails and like misses because especially when you're a DM, you have to think of interesting ways of how people miss rather than just go, oh, you swipe at it. It's like quite interesting to come up with a different way of how you miss or how you critically fail something.
And I love the fact that Velda throws his axe as well, and it just kind of whizzes past us all like Thor's hammer and then whizzes back again.
The Apprentice is so bad in first edition, and it's so good in second edition. It was the first thing we did when Ross and I went to UK Games Expo, and they were like demoing second edition, and we played a sample game of it. The guy was like, you sounded the Apprentice, and I was like, no, we have a whole episode about why that spell sucks. And we did it, and in second edition, like the wizard like throws the staff the length of the battlefield and explodes someone, and in Velda's version he throws it handle first.
It's so fun. I love this bit when M wipes blood on Velda's face, purely because Rick and Morty did it in a later episode, and I don't want to say that we did it first, but we did it first with the X on the head.
Did we also do it before Star Wars? After Star Wars.
Which Star Wars episode is that?
You know, the
you're talking about Finn when the guy puts his blood on Finn's helmet. At the beginning of the episode.
I don't know. I'd have to check the timelines.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And maybe I'm wrong about Rick and Morty. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not having a go at anyone. I'm just saying that like M did a good thing. All right,
It was great.
Anyway.
It was like because I was kind of had one of those moments where like, oh, they've got them there. Like because at this point you guys have kind of just walked straight into the trap, triggered everything, and I'm like, okay. And the follow up is he's going to turn into Velda. Velda will walk into the room. We'll have it's 2 Veldas. Say something only Velda will know. Or we'll have something like that. And you guys were just like, nope. We know exactly how we're going to fix this situation. Just like completely overran his plan, which is great.
And I love that when we open the door, he's like, oh, shit. And then we do the whole climbing down the rope. Velda casts Feather Fall, which is the best spell in the world. We talk about Mary Poppins, which is a reference to Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Mary Poppins, I'm not going to deep dive on that because it's huge. All right?
Huge.
You know Mary Poppins. Everyone knows Mary Poppins. I love the fact that Fulton decides to run down the stairs and out round the corner. Where everyone else is going out the window, Fulton decides to
take my time, just go. And I only can move like 25 feet, I think it is, or like 20 feet. So it would have taken me ages.
Because of your tiny little legs.
Yeah.
By round 2, Fulton gets to the bush outside the front door. Caragor fires a couple of arrows at him, hits him a couple of times. Velda shocks and grasps in. Fulton finally gets round the corner and sees us. Caragor tries to intimidate him, but it doesn't work. And then he hits Shania, and Shania goes down. And then someone says, "Sweep the leg," which is a reference to Dan.
It is a reference to the end of The Karate Kid. Or to the hit show Cobra Kai.
Yes, absolutely. You've watched Karate Kid now, haven't you?
Yeah, it's fine.
Fine. It's a brilliant movie. What are you talking about? If you've not watched Cobra Kai yet, go and watch The Karate Kid first. It's sick. Anyway, so we do sweep the leg, and then Velda blasts him another again, and then Shania stabilizes, and then Fulton gets enraged, and then finally, he's been running for ages down the stairs, round the corner. He finally gets into combat in round 3 or 4, I think it is, and then he rolls
a natural 1.
Yay! True Fulton fashion. And what does he do? He bends.
Oh, yeah. I bend my axe with a critical fail. So it meant that my axe was bent. And I think it was a minus to hit or something physical.
Broken condition.
That's
I
correct.
can't decide whether this is my favourite fumble in the history of the show, or whether it's the one a little bit later that you had for nearly a year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
There were so many good ones, but...
Yeah. Was it? Oh, I think that was... we'll find out. We'll find out in the Danger Recall. But
I actually quite enjoyed describing that battle there. That was kind of cool. It kind of condensed everything. I think maybe we should add that in. Whenever we have combat, someone can explain what happens in the battle. So maybe I'll drop that on someone else in the next episode.
That was a cool recap. I could see you enjoying it. Your little flappy doodles were twitching. Ross, I think you took that quite well. I remember that whole thing. Obviously, listening to it back again, I was like, if that had been me, I'd have flipped several tables. Like, I'd have I'm not sure I could have handled it in the way that you sort of laughed it off. Yeah. And everyone sort of took the mick and stuff. We all laughed at you because it's the reaction we all have. I forgot how visceral it was. We're all literally like, I literally can't believe that this has happened. Like, you hear us screaming before the natural 1 gets reported. So it's like listening to a horrible battle report, and you're like, oh god, they're all dead. It's just Ross. It's just Ross is dead.
I mean, you couldn't have written that, could you? Like, if you'd have put, and then he rolled a natural 1, you'd be like, nah, that didn't happen. That wouldn't happen. That's just too. It's too for comic effect. You're making it too much of a thing, but it really was. It really happened, and it was so much fun. And then he hits you, and you're on 0 hit points at this point in time, which is amazing. Yep. So Fulton's standing there on 0 hit points, and then M gets the final kill, which is great. But then completely usurped at the end of the episode from the what's it called, the celebration of actually killing the boss, because Fulton, using on his 0 hit points, picks up like a rock and bashes this guy's head into just dog food. Do you know what I mean? And we were all saying, look, you're gonna pass out, man. You're gonna fucking die. And you were like, I don't care. I'm going to whack his head until it's pulp.
I love,
and then you drop unconscious.
The increasing desperation of the intimidation checks as it goes on, because it starts off as like, we've got you, mate, surrender, and then by the end of it, it's kind of like Shania's down, Fulton's got a broken axe and is about to collapse, and Caragor's still like, we really do have you. We really are going to kill you, and he's just stabbing everyone. And it's I love that kill because it's purely because of Fulton's flanking. Like, if Fulton had lost 1 more hit point and didn't threaten, that M's attack doesn't hit, and you get another round of having to fight him, and maybe M gets taken down as well. Like, it's so on the line. It's a great boss fight.
Yeah,
it's great, isn't it? Yeah, because I love. Go on.
Sorry, that was that whole Caragor's rarely going to give an enemy a second chance ever again. Now that's written into the character. Look what happened when he did it. It's all right, chaotic neutral justified, murder on sight from now on. Really
enjoyed this episode. Really good. First boss fight. Yeah.
What's the kill ratio at the moment?
Yeah, how are we doing?
All right, I'll give you an update as of episode 13. M has 4 kills.
Big up,
Fulton
Hemp.
has 6 kills.
Wow.
Caragor and Velda are tied on 1, and Shania has 0. So at the moment, Fulton has 50% of the kills on the Daily Club podcast.
Fulton.
Yeah. I don't know how though, because I always that's when my bad luck started happening. This episode probably, I think. So I don't know how that's possible that I've got 50% of the kills.
It's that damage output, boy.
Yeah, when you actually hit, you roll
D12,
so much damage.
That and when Dan allows you to kill steal through roleplay.
Borvius is credited to M.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Morbius is credited to M.
Yeah.
All right.
And two of Fulton's kills were skulks that had already surrendered or were unconscious when he killed them. So.
Yeah.
Were they? This is setting up. This is setting up the seeds of we're gonna get to the recalls on episode 70 or whatever, and it's gonna be like, "You're the murderer! You're the murderer!"
Yeah, man.
The thing I'm most excited about this is to find out if Philippe gets on the board before Shania does.
Yeah.
He uses Philippe loads in these early episodes. The running joke about him always forgetting Philippe, that doesn't come in for ages at the moment. Philippe is doing so much in these early ones.
Yeah, he's really interested in Philippe at the moment, isn't he?
Just before we wrap up, I know Colin's trying to wrap up, but before we wrap up, I just want to shout out to the first edition Tanglefoot bags. Shout it out to first edition Tanglefoot bags. They are a ploy and a tactic all onto their own. It's one of the few things I look fondly back on first edition for. It is a Tanglefoot bag. They were great. They are not so great in second edition. That might be justified, but damn, they were good.
Oh, they were so good. So good. Yeah. Any other thoughts on this episode, Ross?
No, not really. Nothing again. I just,
that's
just
fine.
Liking it.
Always a good way to end an episode, isn't it, like this? What about your pummeling of the head? You don't want to talk about that, any?
Because Folton sees anger a lot, and he just sees rage. So he just there's some deep emotional things behind that. Just seeing red and then wanting to just pummel a guy's face in even when he's dead. That's the dwarven rage.
I want to do a sliding doors a what if Elseworlds kind of episode, because Fulton was working on the docks right before the game before he gets sacked by Moncolio, and that's basically because Moncolio hires him for a bit and is like, nah, this guy's never going to become part of our gang. He's not got the criminal bit in him, so we're not going to tell him about the criminal stuff. I'm just going to sack him. And he goes off on that. I'd love to do a version of it where Fulton is part of the gang and it's the Danger Club trying to stop, Breaking Bad Fulton from taking on the town.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. Well, and then he kills the rest of the club.
Yeah. And then everyone's dead.
Yeah. Alternate universe.
I don't know.
There we go.
It's not a sure thing.
I guess it's anyone's game, isn't it? Well, thank you. That was Danger Recall, part 11. We talked about episode 13. Get on the Discord and talk to us. Get on the Twitter. And if you haven't done it already, go over to iTunes and leave us a review. Yeah. Because we need those reviews. They make us podcast grow. Goodbye to my guest, Scott.
Goodbye.
To my guest, Ross.
Recall, gotta recall. Recall, gotta recall.
And to my guest, Dan.
Great theme. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good Christmas. Is this the Christmas episode? I've lost track of when they come out. Have a lovely time.
No. This goes out on Tuesday the 15th. But it's nearly
Happy
Christmas, isn't it? Danger Recall Christmas. Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.